Hello, Jim. Jeremy here from Southern Poolscapes. Before we jump into your design and proposal, on behalf of myself and Kyle, I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you. And Shelly, we look forward to meeting you soon face to face. It means a lot to us that you invited us into your home and trusted our team with something as meaningful as your dream backyard. And we don't take that lightly because this isn't just a pool. It's really a backdrop for family memories, laughter with friends, and all those quiet moments that just feel better next to a pool. And here's what to expect. Well, we're going to go ahead and begin with your design, which is a true collaboration. You shared your ideas, and we took those and layered in our experience and our creativity and attention to detail, of course. What you're going to see is really your vision enhanced by everything that we've learned by designing thousands of pools across the region. And then next, you're going to see your proposal, starting with our basic package, which already far exceeds industry standards. And as we go, we'll show you how our approach adds long-term value, reduces maintenance headaches, and gives you more joy per dollar than anything else you're going to see from any typical builder in this region. So let's go ahead and dive into that design. All right, so as you can see, we have your design here, Jim. Of course, you saw this design when we were at your home, but we did add some things since we left, and I wanted to walk through some of those changes. Now, keep in mind, I do put a lot of stuff in the designs that we don't build. What we do build is the pool that you're going to see, the decking around the pool, all those hardscapes, the enclosure, of course, anything attached to that pool, we will build. One thing that we don't do is like this lighting that I put in the enclosure. We don't do that lighting, but I do have a buddy, an electrician, that does that lighting, and he'd be happy, excuse me, he would be happy to do that for you and get you a quote, and I can get that quote for you as well. But what I wanted to do is really just walk you through the design, because Shelly, you didn't get a chance to see the design yet, and it's important that you get to see it and understand the why behind why we designed it the way we did. And of course, you have the ability to give me any changes you want. Sorry, I didn't stagger those lights like I should have, so I want to fix that really quick. Awesome. So once again, here is the pool design. What we did was kind of like a L-shape design to give you a little bit more of a tanning ledge up here. If we look at the house or the pool itself, I'm going to hide the roof really quick so we can get that out of our way. But let's look at the numbers, the specifications of the pool itself. So this is called smart data. I'm just going to highlight some things. That pool shell, the envelope of the pool is 17.5 by 28. That's that rectangle that goes around the entire pool. If we look at the area, we're at about 374 square feet surface area of water. We look at our perimeter, and these are all the measurements we take into consideration when we're pricing. Our perimeter is 92 linear feet. And then our depth profile is 3.5 feet in the shallow end to 5 feet in the deep end. And then right now we have a volume of 6,792 gallons. So those are all the numbers that we use to price out the pool. Now, with the decking right now, the decking, we have 664, we'll call it 665 square feet of decking. And then if you were interested, I know this is concrete right now, so this area would actually look like this at this point, but you do have the opportunity to do an overlay where we can extend the same decking, overlay the concrete, and then give you a uniform look like what you're seeing here if we do that. So, but that's a separate line item. You'll see that clearly in the proposal. A couple other things that I added, Jim, was the generator. I added a little fence to go around the equipment pad, a little bit of furniture, some booze right here, just some fun stuff to look at. If we make it nighttime, you're going to see what this pool looks like. You see I put some ceiling fans in there. I'm not 100% sure about the doors and the windows inside your screened area because my drone images, all the pictures that we took, I couldn't see inside that screen, and I forgot to get a picture while we were there. So I did my best. I thought I saw 2 French doors leading out to that patio, but I'm not sure. I know that these 2 windows right here actually exist because I could see those in the pictures, but I'm not sure about these. I think there were 3 windows there, but I'm not sure. So you can let me know and I'll be happy to fix that. It only takes a few minutes to fix. Now, if you see that blue line right there, that blue line is actually the setbacks for your property. I cannot put water past the blue line towards the house, and can't put water past the blue line towards the back property line, right? So, but the good thing is we have plenty of pool nestled right in between those 2 blue lines, and that's what we need to keep. That's where we need to keep it in order for this to get permitted. Then let's see, what else do we have? I'm going to hide that line, by the way, just to get it out of the way so it's not distracting. Now, we do have people in the pool area. I do that because it's important to be able to see scale. Even when you have a pool that's like right next to your house in this design, it's still hard to understand the scale of the pool unless you put some people in. So we went ahead and did that, but I'm gonna hide them now so we can move them out of the way. And whoops, just kidding. Here we go. Let's hide them. Not everybody, just those guys. Awesome. And you can see here's your drone imagery. This is where we got all the measurements from our visit with Proterra. Brian came to fly the drone and scan the yard. There we go. But once again, that is your pool. So you're going to see that we have this MDX R3 main drain right there. We're going to talk about our eco pool system, our in-floor cleaning system options. All of those options we're going to go to in detail as we talk about your proposal. But I just want to give you a really good look at this pool. Let's look at it at night. You can see I put a little bit of landscape lighting in there as well. Let's take it inside and look at what it's going to look like from inside the house. Now, once again, I'm not sure if those windows exist here, but here are the French doors, looking out of the French doors. And I do know that these windows are here and those doors are there. So sometimes I just like to be able to show you what it would look like from inside the house. And then going back out, there we go, and nighttime. There you go. You would have two LED lights in the pool shining towards the back wall of the pool, illuminating that water feature. You have a few different bubblers. Now, I did put the LED bubblers in the design. However, those are pretty expensive. So if we're trying to cut budget, you can switch all three of these to standard bubblers or just take the three bubblers out and put one LED bubbler smack dab right in the middle, and that would be a great effect as well. But you're going to have a lot of different line items to look at, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at your proposal right now. Well, what you see here is the front page of your proposal, and then you're going to see, obviously, you've got your personal information up here, our contact information down here, and pictures of your design. So we like to give you a lot of pictures from a lot of different angles and different times of the day. So all these are taken during the daytime, and then you come to the second page, and you have 8 more pictures to look at from different angles. But of course, you also have this video that you can come back to over and over again to look at all the angles of that pool design. Now, as we go down, this is what is very important to remember. All right. So this price right here, the $73,217, this is for the pool package, but this pool package price does not include anything that I would consider an upgrade. Now, what is an upgrade? An upgrade is going to be anything that you don't have to have for your pool, right? But you probably will want some of those upgrades. But I wanted to show you the difference between the base package and then show you where all your upgrades are down below. And then you will have the opportunity to tell Kyle and I exactly what elements you want us to add back in. And when you add those elements in, then we will work on the price to get the price down, because there's always discounts available. We just don't know exactly which discounts we can apply until you tell us what to put in. So with that said, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Okay. So that we can easily see everything that we need to see here. So let's go line item by line item. Now, these top 3 lines are the measurements that we already discussed in the design portion of this presentation. So I'm going to skip that, and we're going to go right to the structural wall part. Now, when you look at the wall of the pool, you want to make sure that your builders are all obviously building to code, but really code is not very stringent in Florida or Alabama. We build in both states, and building pools, the building code is not strict. So I guess what I'm saying is, just because you can build a pool poorly in Florida and get away with it, that doesn't mean you should, because that is always going to result in extremely high costs later on, and we want you to avoid that. So first thing to talk about is really the structural wall, gunite with number 4 steel reinforced bond beam. The bond beam is like this red Solo cup. It's like the white rim on that red Solo cup. And if that white rim were compromised, then the entire cup would kind of fall apart and get crushed in your hand. It's the rim that holds the integrity of the cup together, and without it, then you're going to have a problem. And the pool is the same way, and that's why we reinforce the bond beam with larger steel, number 4 steel instead of number 3 steel. It's twice as strong, and it's going to create a bigger, thicker wall of the pool, and it's going to be far stronger. So that's one thing that we do that's going to be better than the competition. Now, as we go on through here, you're going to see that you have waterline tile. The standard waterline tile is going to be 6-inch by 6-inch frost-proof tile. We have a lot of different selections to go through, but you can upgrade your tile, and you'll see those options below. And then coping, this would be an upgrade for most builders, but we do travertine standard because it's really just the best option. It's very cool to the touch. It has a very high slip coefficient when it's wet. It's comfortable to sit and stand on, and it lasts forever, and it has a beautiful timeless look. So travertine is the way to go, but you can upgrade to other materials as well, and you can downgrade, but we'd highly recommend not downgrading to what our competitors would use, which would be like a brick or a concrete paver, because it's going to be rougher to the touch, much hotter in the sun. It doesn't like the salt content in your pool, and it's going to have to be replaced over time. Travertine, you're not going to have to worry about. All right, interior finish. So this is already priced out with a pebble quartz plaster. This is actually a plaster finish. You do not want plaster, and the reason you don't want plaster is because over time, it is going to discolor. In about 4 or 5 years, you're going to get cracks around year 8, and by year 10, you're getting delamination. You're going to have somebody come out, drain that pool, and refinish the entire interior of the pool. Plaster is really only designed to last about 10 years, and it's very expensive to replaster. That pool that we looked at in your design would probably in about 10 years cost $15,000 to replaster, and we don't want you to incur that. So that's why we would recommend a pebble finish, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Now, if we move down a little bit further, we have the Hayward TriStar XL variable speed 2.7 commercial grade pump. Now, commercial means it's undergone far more rigorous testing than residential pumps. So this pump is going to last a lot longer. We're the only ones that can sell it in the region. We have exclusivity to this. We have exclusive rights to this pump in our footprint. That's how important we are to Hayward. It's the best pump on the market right now, and it's about almost a full horsepower larger than our competitor's pump. And the reason we use that pump is because we're going to dial it down to about 50% capacity so that we can save you 75% in your electricity. It's still going to move just as much water as the smaller pump, but it's going to do it far more efficiently. And because you're never maxing out the capacity of that pump, it's going to last a very long time, and it's going to be whisper quiet. Now, also keep in mind, when you talk to other builders and you talk about the pump, they might offer a bigger pump than what they would normally offer to try to match our specs. Don't let them do that without changing the plumbing. We offer 3-inch suction plumbing instead of 2-inch suction plumbing. And the reason we use 3-inch suction plumbing is because we have a debris accepting main drain, which we'll talk about here in a second. But also we want to be able to move water efficiently. And we can do that far more efficiently with an oversized pump and bigger plumbing. Don't let anybody put a bigger pump on smaller plumbing. It will cause your pump to fail. It's just bad news. Don't let a builder do that. Now we have a filter. Our cartridge filter, now really quick, little graphic. So trying to put a big pump on small plumbing is like this guy here trying to suck a milkshake through a straw that's too small. He looks like he's about to blow a gasket, and we certainly don't want your pump to blow a gasket, and we don't want you to spend a fortune in electricity getting there. All right, so if we go down, we're going to do a cartridge filtration. Cartridge filters filter out 5 times smaller of a particulate than sand filters. Sand filters are really a thing of the past. Sand filters have to be backwashed constantly in order to operate efficiently. You never have to do that with cartridge filters. You only have to clean them every 12 to 18 months. I tell my customers 12 months because it's easier to track, but it's going to, and it never negatively affects the hydraulics of the system, meaning the pump is always going to work efficiently. Whereas sand filters, if you're not on top of it all the time, flushing them out, then in backwashing, then you're going to have to replace your pump prematurely because you're going to overwork your pump. All right, now moving on, we would create a salt pool for you. We have the best salt cell on the market. It is absolutely amazing. It uses 1/3 of the salt that any of the competitor salt cells will use. It's only 3,000 parts per million compared to 30,000 parts per million in the ocean salt content. Most use 9,000 parts per million. So ours uses 1/3 of the salt. It's that efficient at converting that salt into chlorine through that process of electrolysis. Very comfortable swim experience. Now, so if we keep moving on down, we're going to go into your lights. So your LED lights, you're going to get 2 LED lights in your pool. They will be operated off of the automation of your pool. You can control everything from an app on your phone. We did talk about that MDX-R3 debris accepting main drain. This is hooked up to that 3-inch plumbing. This is how we're going to help you keep your pool clean all the time. You're not going to have a lot of debris falling in with an enclosure, but still to be able to push anything towards that main drain to suck it out from the bottom is a game changer. It really makes a huge difference. Now, the other thing that we're going to give you is 2 Venturi powered skimmers. Now, Venturi powered skimmers are 2 times more powerful than a standard skimmer, but one of the things I really like about this skimmer is that the baskets are 3 times the size of a standard skimmer basket, meaning you're not going to constantly have to empty them because they're going to hold a lot of debris. Now, we keep moving down. So now if we are going to do, actually, I just want to get the proper thing. So at the bottom of your pool, let's talk about circulation really quick. What we do is an eco pool. So the eco pool, if we pull up a different graphic really quick, this part right here this is the ordinary pool. This is how an ordinary pool works. You're going to have 6 returns that are bringing the water back in from the wall, like you see in that first picture there. The problem with having the returns exclusively in the walls up that high is that all of the sanitized water that comes in, that all the chlorine wants to float on top because it's not mixing through the entire body of water. And that's going to cause that chlorine to evaporate off the top, and that's when you're going to have a hard time managing the chemistry in your pool. Furthermore, because any debris, there's nothing to move debris once it actually hits the bottom of the pool. It's going to sit there. You're going to get algae growth and bacteria growth, and that's another reason that a lot of pools are very difficult to take care of. But if you look over here in the middle, you're going to see that we have 3 returns on the bottom that actually move water from the bottom to the top. Our pools have 3 rotating returns on the bottom and 3 standard returns in the walls. If you add temperature control, what you see on the right side, it becomes even more important to have returns on the bottom of the pool, because then the temperature control is going to work far better. You're going to spend a lot less money maintaining the temperature in your pool. And just more efficiency. Whoops. Sorry, I just hit something on my phone and it told me it was 81 degrees outside. Sorry about that. All right. Now, we talked about the rotating returns. This, Jim, you got to hold that. These are the rotating returns. Every time they pop up, they rotate 1/15 of a rotation. So essentially, this strong jet of water is going to push debris up back into the water from the floor of the pool so that it's going to float in the water, get sucked out of the main drain, or pulled out through the skimmers. Now, once again, we have 3 of these strategically placed on the bottom of your pool to push debris towards the main drain. And then the other thing to keep in mind, now this is a horrible graphic and I just haven't had a chance to switch it. And it's they did it backwards. I was telling ChatGPT to make a graphic for me and they messed it up. But I won't be afraid. I'm going to show you anyways. So think of having one line split into 6 different lines, which you see there. If you have one line splitting into 6 lines, then the water pressure is going to be horrible. And that's what other builders do with their pools. They will have one return line that carries the sanitized and filtered water back to the pool. But before it gets to the pool, it's going to split up into 6 different lines that are all running at the same time, and it's going to cause a very, very poor water flow. It's called an anemic water flow, and poor circulation is the worst thing to do for your pool. It's the reason why most pools are very difficult to maintain. Now, moving on, let's go through the automation of your pool. So your pool is going to have full automation. By full automation, I mean the pump, temperature control, if you choose to add temperature control, and your lights. The only thing that is not automated standard on our pool is the water features like the bubblers or the shear descent waterfall that you saw in your design. In order to automate those features, we have to add some actuators to separate that automation so that you have full functionality. And we can do that for you as well, but that would be an upgrade, and I'll show you what that cost. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the autofill. Autofill means you're never going to have to put a hose in your pool because of evaporation. We put autofills in our pool standard. It's always going to maintain the water right in the middle of the waterline tile while it should be. You never want that water to drop below from evaporation. You never want it to drop below the skimmers in the tile. One reason is you don't want your equipment sucking air, and the other reason is you don't want to expose any of the interior finish to the any cementatious material to the air without moisture, because it will dry out and crack and get brittle. So we put an autofill standard as well as an overflow on our pools, and it's going to be an upgrade for all the other companies, so you're going to want to ask for that to get that price, but we put it standard. It's already included in this package price. Maintenance kit, we're going to give you a maintenance kit. We don't expect you to use it much. Everybody else is going to give you a maintenance kit as well, but they expect you to use it all the time. Our pools are just super easy to maintain. You're going to see that there's nothing in the hardscapes yet, because we're going to put all the hardscapes options in the notes so that you can tell us what to put into the proposal. Discounts, we were able to give you a $500 discount so far, but remember, all of the upgrade options will add up to available discounts as well. So we just don't know what to discount until you tell us what to put in the proposal. Then we'll work for you to get that price down where as far down as we can get it, and then and send you back a fully executed proposal with all those details. Now, when we move down, so right now this is $72,710 is the package price after that discount. But once again, this doesn't include some very important elements. So let's look at your legend here. This is the notes section, by the way. And this legend basically tells you that anything that's highlighted in orange is currently in your design, but not priced out in your proposal yet. So if you look at anything in the orange down in here, you're going to see, for example, the tanning ledge and the bubblers and that raised water feature. All those are in the design, but we pulled those out of the package price because we want you to see the options and we want you to see the numbers and tell us what you want to put back in. So for example, if you think that you don't want to spend $2,164 on that water feature, then we won't put it back into the proposal. But this way, at least you can see what our package price is and compare it to other builders, and then also pull out those upgrades and also compare those prices to other builders. Tell us what you want to put back in, and we're going to work to discount it for you. Now, the yellow items, design consultation, this is something that we recommend that will result in significant savings in time and money and headaches down the road. So your PV3 in-floor cleaning system, we're going to provide a link in the body of the email so that you can check that out. Great thing you can do for your pool, but with an enclosure, the value of that goes down, I believe, because you don't have a lot of things dropping in your pool. The PV3 in-floor cleaning systems are amazing. They take those rotating heads and create zones throughout your entire pool. It's 99% clean guarantee. It replaces the need to have anybody clean your pool at all, and it also further reduces your cost of electricity. So our Eco Pool will reduce your electricity consumption by 75% compared to our competitors' pools. The in-floor cleaning system that right here will actually reduce it by 90% because it makes the circulation even that much more efficient. Now, you also have robot cleaner. I would just say get a robot cleaner elsewhere because pool builders will mark these up too much. The heat pump, on the other hand, is one of the most important upgrades you can do. I would recommend getting the bigger of the two. It's just going to be more efficient to run, and it's going to get it up to temperature faster. And that would be the difference between the larger and the bigger heat pumps. The reason that we actually sell so many heat pumps isn't necessarily because of heat, but it's more or less because the water gets super, super warm during the summer on its own, and you want to be able to chill it down and get it to a comfortable temperature. All right, now tanning ledge. Any tanning ledge is $875. Doesn't matter what size, it doesn't matter what shape, always $875. And we highly recommend you compare this to our competitors' prices because they'll charge 2 to 3 times as much for any of these upgrades. Our standard bubbler is $449. An LED bubbler is $1,900. I would recommend either 3 standard bubblers or 1 LED bubbler for your design. Deck jets are basically a deck jet will shoot from the deck into the air and then drop water into your pool, right? So it's a stream of water that shoots up in the air. Those are optional. I don't have them in your design, but they are here. Here's the price here. Raised water features. That raised water feature is $2,164 as designed in the design itself. Once again, we're very confident that if you compared prices to our other builders, those upgrades are going to be 2 to 3 times what we charge. You also have tile upgrade options. The tile upgrade option from 6-inch tile, you can go to NPT glass tile, either 1x1 or 1x2 inch glass tile for $31.28, or Lightstream's handmade glass tile for $41.40. And then you have your interior finish. In my opinion, this is the most important upgrade you can consider because this is what's going to get you more life out of the interior of the pool. It comes with a 30-year warranty. You're never going to have to replaster that pool in 10 years. We also microglass the pool to give you even further protection. That's something that other builders will not do. We used to treat microglass as an upgrade, an $1,800 upgrade. Now we do it for free because it just results in a better result overall, a longer lasting interior, and we never have to service warranties because those interior finishes last forever with the microglass application. I would recommend looking at your tier 2 options. You can hit these links. If the links don't work from the PDF, just go to your email and I'll provide them there as well. But you can see all the pools in all the different colors. And then if we move down to hardscapes, down in here, so I broke the hardscapes up into 2 sections. Section 1 is 665 square feet. This is the pool deck, and then this is the patio overlay if you chose to actually use the same material and make one continuous decking solution instead of having, say, pavers butt up to your concrete. We can overlay that concrete, increase the height of the pool just a couple inches so that you have one continuous pattern and material running all the way across. I have highlighted the 6x12 herringbone travertine because that's what's in the design. That's also the most common solution that we sell right here. It's $14,630. Now remember, all of the prices down here in the notes are regular prices, or regular price. They do not include any discounts yet. So once you tell us what you want us to put in the proposal, we'll go ahead and get those discounts working for you. You do have coping options. I would say only upgrades here that I would consider are maybe these last two, because the larger profile coping stones look really good on geometric shaped pools like what we've designed for you. But otherwise, our standard, which is already priced out for you, that 6x12 travertine, is already in the design. It's already included in the package price. And then fire pit, I would say don't ever buy a fire pit from a pool builder. We charge too much. We'll do it for you if you want, though. Handrails, we don't like putting in handrails because they are eyesores, but if you feel that you need one, we can install them for $800. However, we expect you to buy the handrail. There's a lot of different options. We can help you pick one out, but we would install that handrail for $800, but you would buy your own. And then the enclosure price. So we know you want an enclosure. We've priced out this enclosure for $18,648. Here's the parameters of the enclosure: 9 feet, 9 foot walls, 9 foot tall walls at a length of 102 linear feet. The coverage area of the roof would be 779 square feet. You would have 2 doors, and it would be a mansard style roof, and that would be $1,806.48. But you have to keep in mind that if you have a paver deck, then you would have to spend another $32.20 on footers, because we have to pour concrete footers underneath the frame of the enclosure. And for your design, we would have 64 linear feet of footers that we would have to pour. The reason we wouldn't pour 102 linear feet is because we can use the back beam of the pool as part of the footer, so we don't have to pour another footer behind that pool. So, which is a benefit to you. However, if you went with a concrete deck, like poured concrete or stamped concrete, you do not have to pay for the footers, because that concrete would serve as a suitable footer for the enclosure. And then automation, you would get automation already standard, which would include your pump, your lights, and your temperature control. If you choose to get a heat pump, that's already included in your package. But if you want to upgrade the automation to the water features, it would be another $834 for those bubblers and the shear descent waterfall. Now, if we go down a little bit further, potential additional cost. If we can't get around the limited access, I think we have a plan. We would remove a couple panels of the fence. But if that becomes not an option and we have to go through a tight entryway, then we would have to assess a limited access fee of $3,400. This is something that every excavation company out there would charge, because it'd be very difficult for them to move around, get in and out of the yard. And because we have to take a lot of dirt with us, because we don't have a lot of space to work with, we would have to make a bunch of trips from the backyard to the front yard to do the shuttle haul. And that's why that overage would be charged. But we're going to try to get around that. I have not included that in. I need to have our construction crews look at everything, including all the drone footage, and I'll talk to them about the entry points to see if we can get away from any limited access fees. The only other fee that I would say that could be a possibility is dewatering, which is $1,800. The only reason we see a $2,400 dewatering fee is if we have to add gravel, if the dirt is so mucky that it clogs up the sump pumps that we would use. But I've only seen that happen once in 2.5 years. So typically it's only $1,800 to dewater the site. And we would know before we started excavation, because we'll dig a test hole on the layout. And then I know you mentioned, Jim, that you don't need any financing, but we're going to leave those links in there just in case you guys change your mind. That is your proposal. We hope it's easy to understand and easy to follow, but we're here to clarify anything for you as needed. Thank you again so much for taking the time to explore what makes Southern Poolscapes projects truly different. We've talked through the essential systems that make your pool last longer, run more efficiently, and require far less maintenance than a typical pool built in this area. We've also explored all the upgrades and enhancements that bring comfort and beauty and a resort-like experience right to your backyard. Because at Southern Poolscapes, we don't believe in a one-size-fits-all scenario. We design every pool to reflect your lifestyle, your property, and your vision. precision, and we use only the highest quality materials, the most advanced equipment, and a design process that ensures no detail is overlooked. And from the moment we first meet to the day that you take your first swim, and for years after, we're here to help protect your investment and enjoy it to its fullest. We hope you now feel more informed, more confident, and more excited about what's possible. Review the emails that we've sent you and also the ones that are still yet to come. They're going to reinforce all the things that we've covered here to help guide you through the rest of your decision-making process, because at the end of the day, anyone willing to invest this much into their home and their future deserves a true consultation, not just a quote. So ask all the questions, take your time, shop around, and then come back to us and see what it feels like to work with a team that genuinely cares about every last detail, including your long-term satisfaction. Thank you again for your time and your trust, and we look forward to helping you bring your dream backyard to life.